people are going to die. People are dying. And, we can't play with this. So this is a really serious matter. And it's affecting everyone everywhere. And, when you get into a situation where you're put into hey, God, something's happening, I might die from this, you get this fight or flight physiological syndrome. Literally, it's as if you're walking along and a lion jumps out at you or something. Your eyes bulge, your adrenaline jumps. This isn't really the adrenaline jumping kind of a fight or flight, but now people are seriously thinking, what should I do about this? And this extends to the business too. Eventually, we'll talk about that. What do I do? And how do I manage this? Now, it's really important to recognize that health is more important than wealth. And so there's no question about employees saying, I don't want to work in the office. They're not going to work in the office. At Rappaport, we've closed almost all of our offices. And, there's no issue about people, employees themselves are looking at what's happening and they're saying to themselves, I am not really caring about the job right now. What I'm caring about is not getting sick. And that's really important. So we should understand that everyone is thinking this way, not just people in the diamond or jewelry business, not just our families, but it's a pandemic. Everybody's got that same value question. What should we do? How should we deal with ourselves over here? And so now we realize that there's something much more important than your job. There's something much more important than your business. And that's very, very subconsciously powerful. Now, you can't give Corona. I want to talk about prevention for a minute, since we do have, however many hundreds of people on the line. First of all, sometimes you're washing your hands and stuff, and it's important so you don't touch your face, but you can't give Corona to yourself. So what's really going on here is we're dealing with a situation where you sort of have to relate to your environment. You can only give it to others or get it from others. I'm misspelling over there. Oh, sorry, let me go back up. It's from others. You can't, so what's going on is, I have a sickness, say God forbid, I don't have with this, but yes, say I have a sickness. You go to bed, it's your problem. This isn't your problem. This is everybody's problem, because you won't even know that you're sick, and you'll go out there and you'll shake someone's hand and he'll touch his face and he'll get sick and maybe die. So, you really got to be careful here, because you are in a societal sickness. It's not an individual sickness. So the only solution here is really isolation and what they call the 6 foot or 2 meter rule. Keep 2 meters away from everybody. That's kind of weird psychologically too, because people like to sometimes hug people, be with people, even members of your own family, they're saying you should keep 6 feet away. Maybe people think it's a joke, but in fact, it's the only way to really stop the virus from going on, and staying home like I am. So number one is I'm protecting myself from not getting it, but maybe even more importantly, I'm not giving it to other people. So now this isolation stuff works in you subconsciously. So people are getting weird. They're thinking, not getting weird, but they're thinking differently than they used to think. It's like a fundamental earthquake of change in your personality. So what's happening with this coronavirus, it's not just another thing. It's a fundamental thing that's affecting how people think about themselves and society and the world. And they're also finding out that they're isolated now. They're home. They're home with their family. Some people love that. And a lot of people say, oh my God, I never do. I can't live like this with my husband or wife or whatever. I want to also explain the concept of flattening the curve. If everybody gets sick very fast, there's not enough ventilators. There's not enough medical resources to take care of people, so people will die. And so what they're trying to do with some of this isolation stuff, they're trying to abate, slow down the distribution of the disease. So less people get it. They know that a lot of people are going to get it eventually, but less people get it at once, so they can beef up the hospitals, get more beds, get more ventilators, get more medicines, get more tests. And that's kind of flattening the curve so medical help can catch up. So, I think everybody's pretty much closing their offices that I know. Maybe, I think all Rappaport offices, Hong Kong, Mumbai, Surat, Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, wherever, Dubai, everything's closed. Maybe we have a kind of a skeletal staff in some offices who are keeping the rule. But I really encourage everybody, you really have to take care of yourself. I see there's some hands raised. I'm going to be going a little bit more, and then we'll maybe take some hand raising at the end as well, because I really want to cover the ground, and then we'll take some questions later. So isolation and social distancing, it's changing how people think about each other, and of course, jewelry and diamonds. So, in the background, I know I'm not here to talk about coronavirus only. I'm here to talk about how it impacts the jewelry industry. You got to understand, subconsciously, people are starting to think differently about relationships as they spend more time at home and as they isolate themselves from society around them. You might see people getting married more or having relationships and making commitments because they realize being home alone in isolation, it's not such a great thing. So maybe now it's time to really, get closer to your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. Now, look, this is serious stuff, and it gets more serious as you get older. Okay, I'm 68 now. I got a 3.6% chance of dying. Holy crap. And I don't know if what the probability of catching the disease is. And maybe it's not going to happen to me, I think, but you never know. So you want to be careful. And there's 219,000 cases. 9,961 people have actually died. There's another 15,000 cases every day. It's just the beginning of this thing. Interesting that young people say up to 50, not really, maybe more people get into car accidents. So there's going to be a division about how they treat this disease. There was a picture of a whole bunch of people on the beach in Florida, young people, spring break, they don't give a damn. But when you think about it, if they come home, they might kill their grandmother. And how we treat the elderly. And that'd be kind of crazy. You're young, millennial, came home, said hello, gave my mother grandmother a kiss on the cheek, or my mother in the cheek, touched the grandmother, and the grandmother actually has a 49.8% chance of dying. And this is death. This isn't like, oh, a little problem, this is like the last stop. So we really need to be careful here, and we need to recognize that coronavirus is going to change social values. And it might create some kind of a, difference between young people and old people, the boomers are finally getting theirs. But I'm not going to go into this too much because there's issues about transferring wealth, how that affects society, and how people spend money. And there's also the question of this jewelry that's going to be the state jewelry and stuff. I'm not going there now, but I want you to know all these things matter. And a disproportionate number of the population dies. I mean, they're talking about 9,961 deaths so far. I've heard people talk about 2 million deaths. And I don't know what's going to happen in Africa. But in any case, this is serious stuff, and everybody should be very careful. Now, excuse me, I want us to understand. There's disruption. Oh, Uber does disruption. Synthetic diamonds does disruption. That's like a one-time disruption. But here you're talking about disruption at the individual level. Me, what's going to happen to me? Personal security. Will I get medical treatment? Look at what's going on. People running to supermarkets and buying stuff, food, toilet paper, but they're all buying. They don't really need that much food. But there's a need inside of them to take care of themselves, personal security. It's like subconscious. Financial security, what's going to happen to me? Am I going to lose my job? All the jewelry stores are closed. All the department stores are closed. Everything's closed. The restaurants are closed. What if you work in a restaurant? What if you own a restaurant? Will I have money? Will I have a job? What's going to happen? I'm going to be sick and I won't have a job and I won't have money? And this idea of isolating you. I'm isolated. I can't talk to my friends. I can't hang out. I can talk to them using the internet. But, this is kind of weird. And so this is happening. This is really happening in society. And you can't ignore the effect it's going to have on how people think about themselves and eventually jewelry and all that, but how they think about their friends, how they value friendship, how they value, what it means to be with people if they now find themselves forced into isolation and social distancing. Now, I was looking for a word greater than disruption, because this is more than just disruption. And so I brought it out and I said, we'll talk about individuals as disruption, but we're going to talk about some concept called creative destruction. I mean, that's something that came out of Sumter. It's an interesting concept. I'm not going to go into the whole economics of it, but it's a new global value system. The first thing is it affects everybody. So if something happened, it affected only people who take taxis on Uber. Okay, but this is not well beyond that. This is everybody everywhere going through those personal security, financial security, social security feelings. So there's stuff coming from the bottom. It's not like only because it came from on top, there's a new software, there's a new thing. No, no, no. This is coming from billions of people from the bottom up, how they're feeling about what's going on. And they're going to change values here. Redefining globalization, economic interdependence. I mean, we're not just talking about President Trump and fighting with China. No, no, no. We're talking about, hey, these Chinese guys made me sick. I'm not against China. Or they're saying, hey, I don't want anyone to travel to my country from Europe. I mean, it's amazing. Who would dream of such a thing? I'm in Israel, everything's closed down. No airplanes, nobody can come in, nobody. It's like closed. But America, you know, they're closing America. And so globalization, you talk about globalization, you can't travel, you can't visit, you can't, you know, I don't know, products you can ship, I guess. But the idea of economic independence and is now becoming more and more of an issue. It's not just trade wars anymore. It's maybe health, it's not wars, but it's security concerns, health security concerns. So we're changing how people think about themselves in the world. We're rejecting old values and saying, no, I'm not going to travel to that conference. No, I'm not going to go to that show. No, I'm not going to do business that way. And we're thinking about new technology-driven values like right now, we're using Zoom. I'll tell you something interesting. You know, I was fortunate. As soon as the market went down, I just sold out, okay? But I was lucky. I got out of all my shares. But I bought Zoom. I said, hey, this is technology everyone's going to be using. We're members of Zoom. We use Zoom for many years. Okay. Now, we should understand that this creative destruction is coming, and it's going to change how people want to buy diamonds and jewelry. It's going to change how we run our shops. It's going to change how employees feel about it. Now, there's Newton's third law of physics says every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So I want you to think about what's going on over here with this coronavirus, making everybody crazy. Think about what's the reaction. What's going to happen now? Okay, so if someone came over to you and pushed you, and then you would get pushed into a tree or push something else. There's something happening here. And how this happening thing, hold on a second. Guys? All right. So the thinking here is, what is going to happen because of this coronavirus? How's it going to impact people? And by the way, I see people raising their hands. Maybe Joshua, you can text them or something.
No.
Okay. Now, look, we don't know everything that's going to happen, but we know something's going to happen. And we need to think about that. Because if the bigger the force, the more disturbing to society, the more people are staying home, the more stores are closed, the more malls are closed, the more entertainment is changed. You know, all those things combined are like a force. And what is that going to do to how we are going to think about luxury products? Now, I'm not happy about luxury, but how are we going to think about security? How are we going to think about diamonds? How safe are we going to feel? What do you think about money? What do you think about jobs? All this is kind of coming down on people. It's just the beginning now. So we got to start thinking about what is that going to cause? What implications? And we should be careful to understand unintended consequences dominate. Now, sometimes people do things and there's a purpose. You know, they planned it. They raise taxes. They create a new Uber. They make a, excuse me. I really am not sick, but I'm coughing anyways. You've got these things that sometimes there's an intention to do something. And because you did this, something else happens. But now, no one planned this coronavirus. So the unintended consequences are going to dominate. So to some extent, we're in a high level of uncertainty. Just look at that stock market going up and down like a yo-yo. That's because we don't understand what's going to happen as a result of what has happened, okay? Not only don't we know what has happened, okay, we don't know what implications. And even when I was talking to somebody who says, you know, okay, China's going to get better maybe. That could be. But the implication of what's happening now is in the whole rest of the world. There's more new cases happening in the rest of the world than there is in China. So the issue is no longer China. It's the fact that people are getting sick outside of China. And then it's not just that people are getting sick out of China. Now it's like stores are closing because the solution for the coronavirus problem is isolation. And therefore, all movie theaters and all stores and everybody's gone. The malls are dead and the jewelry shops are closed. So that's a second level thing that's happening. And then there'll be other things that will go on. For example, people who are manufacturing diamonds or have inventory, because the stores are closed, they're going to have enough inventory. They're not going to buy new goods, and you're going to get a whiplash effect. Okay, So if the stores are selling out 10% less or 90% less or 60% less, it'll be 100% less in places like India. So anyways, be aware that it's complicated and that there are spillover effects that are happening here. Now, what is going on is internet technology is dominating the workplace, is dominating entertainment, is dominating everything. And if before we looked at the internet or we looked at different technologies, I'll call it digital technology, we thought, okay, it's there, can use it, 10%, 3%, 7% people buy jewelry online. Yeah. Now, man, everybody is 100% buried in the internet. And they're using it for they have to hide at home. They got to be home, so they're using it for work. All of our people are only working with each other over the internet. The internet, or in this case, Zoom or Skype, it's like bread and butter. It's like the air we breathe. It's everything to us. So this idea that everyone is now reliant on the internet is going to cause them to use it more, and even educating your kids, even everything that you're doing. Okay, so this is like amazing. Okay, wow, it's 12:24 already. All right. So interuse and access has become a matter of survival. It's no longer a luxury. It's not just for social media. It's now becoming mainstream, and that means everyone's going to use it. So to the move to a digital world, creative destruction will empower global digitalization. And they're going to say, what are you doing? I mean, you have a piece of jewelry and you didn't put it on the web and you didn't get an image. What are you, nuts? You're not part of the universe. You're not part of the real world if you were not fully utilizing digital technology. And the move to digital technology, which was happening kind of linearly, getting more of it, we're doing it, we have time, we're going to get better, we're going to make a nicer web page. Now it's like warp speed, Star Wars, push a button, boom, you're in a new place. That's what's going to happen now. And so everyone's going to be adopting and adapting to a new digital environment. And so we can expect the jewelry business particularly to become totally, wildly digitalized. And if you're not digital, you're like, you're not in the game anymore. Okay. All right, I'm going to start talking about diamond markets now. I'm running a little bit late. Are there any burning questions that you think I should answer about coronavirus? Anybody want to go? I really need to answer. I'd rather just finish this whole thing and take all the questions at once.
No, go directly into the diamond markets. That's what I suggest. Also, Mike, you just click on two things, on participants and chat. We'll be able to see on your right hand side of the screen.
All right, where do I find that? I'm
at the bottom of your screen. You can see participants.
I actually don't see it, but all I see are my slides. Let me go. Oops.
You don't see the.
Open up the Zoom first.
All right,
open up the Zoom icon on the bottom.
Yeah, the Zoom icon. Open the Zoom icon.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. It says join the meeting.
No. You're in the meeting. You're in the meeting.
All right. I see you're saying to me, whoa. I'm not going to do that.
Cancel this.
Sorry, everybody. We're doing some things over here. So I'll just close this window. No, don't end the meeting. I'm not going to do that.
Make it small.
Make it small. And
you don't see where you have your microphone, where you have.
I know. Let me do this here. Okay. Sorry, everybody.
Where you have the microphone icon, the share, the video, and that is things they're called participants.
Press escape to show floating controls. I can't see it, but we'll figure it out later. Let me keep going. Okay. All right. I hope everybody understood what I said so far. Oh, I see now it did pop up. I see QA3s. It says participants. Excuse me?
Chat as well. You can see the participants on the right-hand side. You'll see the participants. Below that, you'll see all the chat going on.
Fine. I know I'm kind of talking. I won't have time for doing that so much, but whatever it is, I'll try to do it, and I'll just do one thing at a time, which is to talk to everybody and tell what I'm thinking. Okay, now we're going to get into some meat. Now, the diamond markets have been under extreme pressure because before coronavirus, coronavirus, that's why, baloney. We were screwed before. Chinese demand, 13%, 5%. U.S. imports 28.4% down in the over half carat stuff. And I can't trust the Melly data because U.S. is all screwed up. No profitability, rough prices too high, reduced liquidity. Let me say that the diamond markets before coronavirus came up was a sick scenario, not a good situation, okay? And I can maybe show you more of that. Here you can see there's the rough and polished prices. This is unacceptable. People can't make money. And guess what? There's no profitability. Why should banks give you a loan? Yeah, let's get realistic. Look at India. okay? And the US imports looks the same. This is monthly stuff. February 20th is after Corona. Okay, so now it's down 50%. You know, it'll probably be down like 80% or 90% year on year. So if we did 2.2 billion now, we're doing 1.1 billion. These are net polished exports out of India, okay? And for 2019, we're down 15, you're down 15.8%, and imports are down 19.8%. So 2019 was not a good year. And that's before coronavirus. And you can see the extent of it. I mean, 30% in November was down. A lot of problems, riots, or all kinds of problems with China and credit, etc. So we're not in good shape going into this. At least that's what I would think. That's what I understand. That's what I think. Now, take a look at this. Now, this is a real disaster. I mean, look, polished prices from the peak. Okay, that was the peak in 2011. This is D to H, IF to VS2, Rap Spec A3 diamonds. And man, we're just really, you know, grounding it over here, okay? We're down 50%. I can't believe we're down 50%. I mean, what kind of markets do we have? Are we, you know, what's going on here? How could we as an industry have our diamonds, and these are better quality diamonds. This is not junk. This is really not stuff. Matter of fact, junk's doing better. Why are we down 50%? What's going on? And put this in the back of your mind as we start talking about the issues that are confronting the market, and maybe the solution that I'm going to have over here. So the corona effect is pretty powerful here. You know, retail stores are just down. That's it, man. If you thought that the secret to selling diamonds was having easy availability, and so people could go shopping and have a shopping experience, okay? As long as corona's around, forget about it. Not going to happen. And not only are the stores down, the wholesalers who need to distribute to the stores are down because it's a health issue. And not only is that happening, the stock market is zooming down. I mean, gosh, you look at that stock market, it's amazing. Up and down, but up, it goes up a little and then it goes down a lot. Up a little, down a lot. I should really show you what it looks like in a minute. Okay, so you can't sell. Here's the problem. People now are frozen. They can't sell. They can't sell. How are you going to buy? And then the market freezes. It's like your gears or something in a you know, it just freezes up. The thing can't turn over. The car is frozen in the morning or something. And so the only thing working is really the internet. And so we got to think about that and say, well, we got to go digital. Well, we got to figure out how can we keep moving forward, and how can we keep doing business. And maybe everybody can. If you have a retail store, you know, or you have a pizza shop, you know, how are you going to do it? Well, I went to the restaurants here in Jerusalem the other day. I didn't go out, but I was just driving by, say, because I had to go somewhere. And there was these signs, you know, we deliver, you know, home, or check us out on the internet and we'll deliver. And I'll explain to you what we've done, for example. We're in the middle of an auction right now. And so how are we going to deal with things? Because we have to change how we're doing business. And a lot of it has to do with how we use the internet. Now, this is an example of the S&P. Now, look, you got to see here, you know, things were doing just fine. You know, look at this, beautiful, everything's good, America's happy. And, you know, the stock markets were also going up, maybe not as good as America, but this is a nice, smooth ride. A little bump here, a little bump there. But now, ba-boom. Now, that ba-boom makes people think about their wealth, their money. Should they be buying expensive things? Should they be buying jewelry? Are they in the mood? Okay. So that's a real problem here. So people are starting to think, I don't want to spend money, and I want to watch my money. And so if we're going to just rely on the liquidity that could be provided by consumers, then the markets are really going to freeze. So there's a real issue over here. How do we keep these markets alive? And I am going to give a solution, believe it or not, or what I think is a solution. But look at this. Okay, this is like we're coming along. Everything's fine. Now I'm looking at things from January. So you can see the beginning of January, everything's great, 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 great. Now over here, and it's funny because coronavirus was around here too. You could have shorted the market. You could have sold your stocks, but no one paid attention. Now look and see these little jumpies? Boom, 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 boom. Very interesting. It's a steps going down kind of thing. 28%, which isn't the end of the world, but it's still, it's everybody kind of almost lost 28% of their money. That's a lot of money. Not everybody. Wealthier people who tend to buy jewelry because they tend to have money in the bank. They tend to be in the stock market. And don't forget, a lot of people in the stock market, because interest rates were like close to zero. Now they are actually over zero. But, you know, so everybody who had any money who'd be a typical diamond customer, you know, they kind of probably have felt this because they probably invested. Here's an interesting story. What the hell with the Signet thing? Now, Signet's a nice company. They're nice people, not against anybody, especially the new people there as well. But what the hell is going on? 71% since January. All right, 28% of the market, 71%. I mean, you'll see in a minute. I mean, I'm thinking maybe we should buy Signet for lunch. But what will we do with it? So it's not, and I'll show you in a minute. So like, wow, what is going on with Signet? And is this the future of the diamond industry? Are we so reliant on retail that if we, you know, this is the largest jeweler in the world here. This isn't, you know, Joe Schmo. Are smaller jewelers better than bigger jewelers in this environment? Are they more nimble? Are they more able to do things, sell things electronically? I don't know. But if you said to me, the diamond business is based on B2C, and if B2C goes to hell, we're all going to hell. And so maybe this is the future of the diamond industry. The shares under 10 yesterday. Or not. What do we do? How do we run a business? What's going to happen in the diamond industry here? Is this our future? Now, there's an interesting story here because, you know, there's this whole question about luxury and brands. Now, you can see that Tiffany took a hit right here. But Tiffany jumped up because someone bought them. LVMH, not just someone. But if we take a look at what's going on here, okay, they're both feeling this big drop. That's normal. But why is Tiffany going up 49% this is from January? You can say they were the same. In January 17, they were exactly the same. Okay, we're 3 years later. But why? This guy went up and this guy went down. Look at that, a clear separation of paths. Why did that happen? Well, I think there's a strong argument against the idea of just trying to be a store versus a brand. And Tiffany has one strong, solid brand. And that's the clearest sign to me that branding has great value and survivability. So you might say, listen, Rappaport, don't freak out. The diamond industry is not going to go the way of Signet. The diamond industry will go the way of Tiffany as long as we build ourselves in luxury products. But Tiffany only buys very narrow ranges of goods, where Signet buys a lot more. They're also narrower today than they used to be, but they buy a lot more. So if we had to rely our industry's production, manufacturing, mining, all on a few Tiffany's, you know, there are a few, you know, Boucheron, Cartier, and all the other brands, high jewelry. Our industry is not going to, you know, it'll become very, very niche-y, okay? Like sort of maybe Ferrari cars or Jaguar or something. You know, it's not going to be broad-based anymore. Millions of people, they're not going to be able to play that game. So I don't think that's the solution, although it is definitely worth noting. Now look at this part. This is really freaky, okay? Look at the relationship between Tiffany and Signet over these years. So, you know, once Tiffany's worth twice as much as them. In 2015, Tiffany was pretty much worth the same market cap, same illusion as Signet. And then, whoa, things deteriorated 5 times. You know, in 2018 already, Tiffany had 5 times the market cap of Signet, even though Signet sold 6.2 billion and they only sold 4.4 billion. And it deteriorated further. So you got to 6 billion, 6.1 billion, and there's still more. They're like 50% more than in sales. But the market cap, the value of the company, the future of the company, if you want to put it that way, 16.25 times. And then here, okay, even though Tiffany went down in the market cap, I mean, you know, Signet got clobbered. Is that the market cap of the diamond industry, the jewelry industry? Is that what we're worth? Is our value as an industry also tanking to this degree without brands? Where should we be? How should we develop further? Where should we go? What should we do? Okay, because that 530 million, that's really not a lot of money. Like really not a lot of money. And so you got to wonder, maybe someone will buy them. If they bought them, what would they do with them? So it's a real question about where are we going. And this is not even because of the virus only. Okay, the virus chopped them in half and maybe, but still in all, the problems or the issues were more than just because of the virus. But the virus now is waking us up to the extent that we are forced to confront our challenges and our problems. So before we could just, put on the right, not really, it's going to work out, let's just wait it out. Now we're kicked in the ass. Now we're slapped in the face. Like I have John who runs our thing, he's our editor, he's our publisher, he says he's from Ireland. He says, someone came over here and they slapped me in the face with a fish, he says. That is a very strange way to think about things, but slapping with a fish. I mean, we are now at the point where we can no longer ignore what's happening, or as Warren Buffett says, when the tide goes out, you can see who's not wearing pants. So we are at the situation now where the tide is out, and we need to think, where are we going? How are we going to deal with this? How are we going to save our industry? Okay. So I'm just pointing you, I don't know why we had this Signet and Tiffany's extra slide there. This is just showing you the Signet prices. All right, now. So let's take a breath. Everybody okay? I'm going to get into the third and the final part of our story right here. Now, when we look at the industry, we have to think about what are we? What makes our industry tick? And so over the years, what's happened is the old days, and I'm an old guy, now 43 years in the business. I learned in Antwerp. I remember the old diamond dealers. And there was a sense of identity. You were a diamond man. And the retailers were there, okay, it's fine, as we go. Yeah. But the retailers were not really the core, the fundamental basis of the business. You had these amazing personalities and people. So are we just a B2C story? Is that what we are? Or is there something else? Is there a B2B animal within us that is like a buffer that says, hey, I'm a B2B, I'm a dealer, man, and I take care of this market, okay? And, you look at the stock market, it goes up, goes down, but there are players who say, yeah, we make markets, we bid, we buy shares, even Signet, so it's $8 today, but it's $8. Someone is paying $8 to buy a share. Even with all the bad news, with all the current, everything has a price, and those people are willing to make a market in the product, whatever it is, copper, zinc, oil, all goes down, who cares? But there are players there. Now, if B2C dies, does our whole industry die? Good question. Are we so hooked up to B2C that our B2B has been demasculated, decapitated, decapitalized, so that there's nothing there? It's just everything's whatever the consumer says, whatever the retailers say, and everything else, we diamond people, we just take off our pants and we just say, that's it. We can only do whatever the consumer wants, and it's consumer centricity. It's not consumer sense, it's consumer ownership of the industry. And the retailers that they buy, fine. If they don't, I don't know, we'll just go back. Is there a viable B2B sector that can support the market when B2C is weak? Do we have players? Are there people who say, okay, I'll buy a diamond. I know the market's weak now. I'll buy it super cheap, but I'm going to be there for it. And I see this, for example, in the recycle business. I see people who are still willing to stand up and buy even today, and they're not afraid. And there is that dealer group that stands up there. So let's think about this a little bit. And what is the idea of diamonds? And the reason I mention this is because I talked to some high and mighty people in the industry. And they say, oh, luxury, luxury, luxury. Oh, luxury, diamonds are luxury. And I'm thinking, luxury is crap. Diamonds should be more than luxury. And so what we did was, I think the industry did was, they said, what is a diamond dream? Now, a diamond dream always incorporated within it, and this is going to be a very important point I'm going to say in a few slides, the idea that diamonds are a store of value in difficult times. The fact that diamonds are valuable, and whatever happens, you can get money for them. And if everything hits the fan, you can run away from Germany, come to America, and you can get some money. You can go to Switzerland and get some money. They're worth something. It's not like you'll see that pocketbook or something. Diamonds have value. Now, this guy Oppenheimer, okay. And you say, and they say, so the idea behind the diamonds, what is the idea of diamonds? Is the idea of diamonds, this is a luxury pocketbook. This is a luxury pair of shoes. Is that the idea of diamonds? But the idea of diamonds, when everything goes cuckoo and you get chronoed, oh, I got a diamond, I have money, I can take that diamond, I can get money. The idea of store of value during difficult times. If you get nothing else from me today, that's the question that I'm jabbing into the industry right now. That's the question I'm forcing everyone to pay attention to. Are diamonds a store of value or not? When the tough times come, do we provide a market for diamonds? Do we provide liquidity diamonds? Or do we hide under our bed? Can our industry handle diamonds and give them a fair price, whatever the competition is? Now, this idea of diamonds, think about Oppenheimer. What was Oppenheimer doing? He's sitting there in a recession, in the depression of the United States of America, 20s, late 20s. And he hires someone to come up with a marketing campaign. He wasn't waiting for the consumer and the retailer to come to him, to take his hand, to lead him to a diamond industry. He was proactively looking at diamonds and saying, I will move this thing forward. I will take responsibility for diamonds. I will promote diamonds. I am going to be a diamond man. And that's what Ernest Oppenheimer was. Okay? A real diamond man. So he didn't go to the product and sniff the consumer to decide what should be with diamonds. No, he was proactively buying diamonds all the time. He was making a market for diamonds, very cheap as it was, but he was a diamond man. He wasn't a retailer. He wasn't a luxury coochie-coo guy with a pocketbook. He was a diamond man. And now I got to think about, do we have diamond men? Now, what is the idea behind diamonds? And again, is the idea behind diamonds is a store of value. Are diamonds more than just a luxury product? I'm not against luxury. I'm not against brands. I'm not against someone that says, I can take a diamond and I can turn the diamond into a Ferrari, into a, I don't know, whatever you want to turn it into. And that's fine. That's wonderful. But is that all we are? Is a luxury product and we're not a store of value? Are diamonds valuable? Not because there's some kind of a luxury product and this month people are excited about buying luxury and they go up and they go down and they like luxury, they don't like luxury. No, are we more than luxury? Are we valuable because we're diamonds? And you gotta understand, people understand that. And there's consumers intrinsically understand the concept that a diamond is valuable because it's a diamond. And who makes them valuable? Why are they valuable? Who stands behind diamonds? Mr. Oppenheimer is no longer around, even his son is no longer around. I'm not complaining about anybody. De Beers does what they think is best. For free markets, Alrosa does what they think is best. They're the big stakeholders. They got a lot, billions of dollars tied up in this game. But who's the house? I think these people have all gotten, I don't know, they're taking luxury like heroin or something. You know, that's it, luxury. But what about the value of the diamond? Who's standing behind the value of diamonds? And I think we need to think about that, especially now with the coronavirus. So that's the key question here. That's why I'm here today. Are diamonds a store of value in troubled times? Yes or no? And I think it's a fair question to ask, especially if people own diamonds. So, you know, I was at the Miami, I decided I'm going to learn about consumers, right? So I go to Palm Beach. And I meet with, I go to Palm Beach, the show, I went to Miami show, the Palm Beach show, a lot of consumers. I wanted to see how do people think about diamonds. I gave a speech and 120 people came. And at that Palm Beach show, I gave a talk. And afterwards, someone comes over to me, a very nice person. And she says, look, I'm 86, my husband's 91, my children don't want jewelry. Can you please help us? I said, sure, try to help, why not? Broker it, sell. And she puts down a certificate for, I say, exactly, 20 carat, the flawless. A guy went to Palm Beach, he said, there was a rich guy, an old guy that went to Palm Beach from New York City, you know? So he got to Palm Beach, he said, I learned two things in Palm Beach, he said. First of all, I learned that I'm not so old, because there's a lot of very old people there. And the second thing he said, I learned that I'm not so rich. But the bottom line is, here's a seller. So I didn't know what to say. I said, wait, now's not a good time to sell. Sure enough, I think I was right, but who knows where it'll go. But what are you going to do with these people? What are you going to do with 97 million Americans that are going to want to sell their stuff, for example? And now it's not even, now it's troubled times, even if it's not troubled times. Do we have a market, a viable way to provide liquidity in the diamond industry? Now, here's what I think. Diamonds are a story of value if and only if there is a viable, ethical, transparent, competitive, and efficient market that provides fair value to those seeking to sell. So if we sell diamonds and people want to resell them back to us, or if anyone wants to sell a diamond, they have to have a market, they have a place they can go where they can get a fair price. I didn't say a high price. I don't even care about the price. I just care about the fact that there's a competitive liquid price. Now, this kind of a market isn't based on luxury. It's not based on consumers. It's based on dealers. Now, the diamond market belongs to the dealers, not the mining companies, not the retailers. The dealer community, which we used to have, I hope we still have them, and they have the guts to put down and say, I'm going to buy something. And some of them have been, I don't know, seduced into the rough world, but forget about rough. Buy the polish. So the question is, do we have a viable market? It is the role and responsibility of the diamond dealer community to participate in markets that provide liquidity for diamonds. We have to have liquidity, especially when times are tough, because that then really gives diamonds, that's the story of diamonds. That's the value of diamonds. You know, you want to, you say, sell the idea behind diamonds. That's the idea behind diamonds. This thing is valuable. You get into trouble, you take that diamond out. I mean, in Africa, Rolex watches. Everybody knows Rolex. You have a Rolex watch. They call it a passport. God forbid there's something terrible happening. You take off your Rolex and you can maybe escape a country that's under war. That's something, you know, that's great. But diamonds also should have and have had historically that idea that I have something of value that's close to me that is going to be liquid in times of trouble. And so I'm going to say some very tough statements here. Without liquidity, diamonds are a fraud. If diamonds are not liquid, and when it comes time to sell them, the guy hides under the bed, you see the back of his head, no one's going to buy them from you, then why are diamonds better than, I don't know, synthetics, cubic zirconia? If all you're selling is fashionable flash for your cash, and there's no real story or there's no real promise, or there's no real idea that diamonds are story value, then what makes a diamond a diamond? It's just a little stone with a little bit of sparkle. And you have a higher refractive index than cubic zirconia. And I would go even more, without liquidity, the diamond trade is a fraud. Because people are buying it thinking that they have liquidity, thinking this is something that I can trade in when times are tough. So when times are tough, like now with the coronavirus, this is our opportunity to figure out, to step up to the plate and say, okay, guys, we're going to provide liquidity to a market. And I think that's the most important thing. So all diamonds have value, first of all. No one is flushing this stuff down the toilet. I can tell you stories. We don't have time. I want to take questions. But all diamonds have value. We're going to establish a competitive bid-ask market for diamonds. We're going to make phone calls. We're going to find out who buys 20-carat D-flows, who buys 2-carat Fs, who buys half-carat, I don't know, Ki2s. I don't care what it is. But we have to create a viable, fair market for diamonds using the internet, using all the communication things that we have. It's vital that sellers know they can consistently get a competitive bid for a diamond. So if a guy wants to sell a diamond, we can't have, as an industry, hide under the bed. And we should understand bidding liquidity creates confidence, no matter what the price is. Yes, I know I can get $8,000 for something, whatever. Okay, fine. Now, here's an example. So we went on Racknet. I said, let me see what's going on. So I took 1 carat, D flawless, EVVS1. These are all the price kind of the economic term is traditional, whatever. These are price lines that you could have for different qualities or different levels of diamonds. Okay. And I said, show me one of each. Rapport A-Spec A3. Okay, there's faint fluorescence on them, but it's a nice stone. Nice stone. And here it is, $8,000, 55 below. Somebody give me $1,000, $2,000, $500, $5,000. These things have to start selling. And we have to pull together as a community of dealers. Now, I'm not saying every dealer has to do this. I'm not saying retailers have to do this. I'm saying as an industry, the players, the people who have a stake in the diamond industry have to go out there and they have to start playing this game. They have to start thinking, well, I'll buy it if it's cheap enough. Yeah, I'll make a bid. Just bids. That's all it was, bids. And well, you look at the different prices. Okay, this is the best price in Random. Okay, maybe they're crazy. But here's another price that's based on the 10%. And you probably have 50 or 100 diamonds in each, maybe 500 diamonds in each one of these categories. And we take like the 10%, they're less expensive, and they do the average. So this is a pretty good indication of pricing. And I'm sitting back here and I'm going to start talking to my team and say, guys, can we get bids for these things? They're good prices. Someone, is there anyone in the world who would buy a D Flawless? What price? What's the price today for D Flawless? Not the price for a seller. What's the bid? Bid, 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 bid. Right. So that's how I'm thinking. Now, so first of all, let me stop for a second, and I want to make this point clear to everybody. We have to have liquidity in the diamond markets. Not even a question. And that is the challenge before us. If we have liquidity in the diamond business, everything will be fine. If we don't, then we're going to have serious problems about what is diamonds. Consumers are going to say, I'm never going to buy this again. I can't sell it. It's just, and even as an industry, I feel terrible. People buying diamonds, but the idea that they can sell them and no one's willing to buy them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to marshal together all the forces of those people who can buy. Maybe they're speculators, maybe they're whoever they are, and say, guys, could you please help us to create bid prices for diamonds? And I don't care if they're low, that's fine. And so that's where I'm going to be putting a lot of effort in the weeks ahead to help us pull out of this thing. So people know, okay, there's a market. I like the price. I don't like the price. I want to sell. I don't want to sell. But they know there's a floor to the market. We're not hanging in the air here. And to me, that's like a very important concept. Here's a little cute thing that I learned from the 2008 debacle that the diamond industry went through. Okay, how do you make money in a downward moving market? I think we showed you for example, where was that over here? You see this here? There's a signet. You see this here? This is a downward moving market. And you see little jumps, but not always you're going to find the jumps. You could have even a straight line downward moving market. How do you make money? I wish that I was in a regular speech. I would ask everybody, you guys tell me, someone tell me. But this is now on the internet, and I have to learn how to use it better so we can do that. I'll tell you how. First of all, don't freeze. What happened in 2008, I saw people who were dealers, big dealers, and they froze, like a deer caught by the headlights of a car. Froze right in the middle of the street, smacked into the car. Don't freeze. No freezing. I want you to understand that the value of your inventory is replacement cost. So let's say you buy something for $10,000, diamonds, jewelry, and you see that it's for sale in the market now at $7,000, which isn't that crazy. The stock market went down 27%. And you go, oh God, look at that. Market sit there and I can't do anything. I better just not do anything, leave the goods in the safe and wait, which a lot of people did in 2008. Came along some smart Indians and they said, hold it a minute. If the market was at, cost me 10, and the market's giving me replacement at 7, I'll sell for 8. So they took something that cost them 10. They sold it for 8. And they replaced it with 7, and they put $1,000 cash in their pocket during the worst times of the world. Interesting. So sell below your cost. You understand, your cost is your replacement, because after they did this for months, they ended up with a lot of good customers, and they had the same inventory. They kept replacing their inventory. Didn't make a difference. So they had, and then when the goods went back up, they went back up. They had the same price. They were not hurt by doing this. So sell your below your cost, replace, and make money. This would be very good advice to people in a downward moving market that I would share with you. And I was talking to this banker, and the banker said to me, he said, as long as my client is breathing, I don't bury them, him or her. I'm not sexist here. And so that's kind of interesting. In other words, if you're in the game, if you're not frozen, if the diamond industry at the dealer level is not frozen, and I don't expect retailers to kill themselves here, although they probably should buy stuff cheap if consumers want to sell them. But this idea that you keep breathing, that you keep trading, that you buy, you sell, if you can today. I understand the bourses are closed, right? But if you can, with the internet, this would be a good way to think about how you're going to survive, how you're going to go further, particularly dealers who have this capability. Replace your inventory if you can sell. No one wants to buy anything from anyone. That's another story. But you want to think about that. You want to not freeze. Moving into the future, and this is just standard stuff. I'm almost done, okay? And I will get to the people raising their hand. I am sorry, we will have time to do that. I can stay around a little more than the hour. Embrace the future, and you can own it. That means you can't just be struggling to use the internet or whatever. Now, this technology stuff, I get all these people showing up and they go, oh, I have technology, I have imaging, I have this, I'm going to take over the market. No, it doesn't work that way. Technology alone is just a tool. It's like a phone. It's like a fax machine. It's like whatever, Not going to replace the business. The skill of craftsmen, negotiating, struggling, hustling, passion of the salesperson, all that is vital. You can use technology. I can use a telephone, or like you use Zoom, or like you use today Skype, but that's not going to make your business, okay? You have to be the diamond guy, the jewelry guy, the person who really understands the product. So we're not selling technology. We're selling beautiful diamonds and jewelry to loving people. You got to remember that. So our ability to optimize use of technology and adapt such use to our needs and the needs of our customers is the key. Adapt it, but don't marry it. Don't put technology, now especially everyone knows technology, oh, that's my business. I'm going to be a technology guy. That's going to save me. It won't save you in the diamond and jewelry business unless you really become a technology guy, startup. So the big idea is that the real idea behind diamonds is that they are a store of value in troubled times. I'm not willing to walk away from that. Our ability to provide liquidity to customers is the key to the survival of the diamond industry. If you ask me, what do we need to do now? What's the test? What's the one thing we have to do? It's provide liquidity. Fashion and luxury may come and go, but the value of diamonds is forever, okay? And that's my conclusion. So I'm not used to doing this on a, well, I have done a couple of webinars, but this is a rather big one. So tell me, my friends.
Martin, there's on the there's a Q&A. If you see at the bottom.
All right, I don't see much at the bottom, but I'm going to try my best.
Scroll with your mouse. You'll have the bar, the Zoom bar, and you'll see a Q&A.
All right, I'm going to try to do. Right now, what I'm doing is
this one. There's another window. Just
I only need to close this window here. I'm going to cancel this here. I'm going to go somewhere else, I guess. I don't know where I am here. And I'll keep closing things until I get to some kind of a Zoom window. No problem, everybody. And
yeah, just scroll your mouse above the top line. You'll get over to the Zoom.
Scroll above the top.
Yeah.
I'm here. This is not. This is a snippet.
Just.
Hang on a second. And you see, as I'm also trying. Okay, so let me do this. There is something that I have that I turn off, and that's over here. You're talking about this, right? Q&A 22, is that it?
Right. Just go there. Just up and down.
I'm going here. Very nice.
So there's all the questions there. You can just
all right, so I'll try to answer the questions, and I think we should allow people who raise their hand to ask too. But let's go step. All commodities, stock markets are turning. So next is diamonds. Since there is hardly any demand and lots of supply, is Rapport list going down on Friday? Thanking you. I can't talk about what we're going to do with the price list. I'm not allowed to. But yeah, things tumble, they bumble, they go up, they go down. And that's not the end of the world. No one's surprised in the winter when it's cold and in the summer when it's hot. And you should expect cyclical behavior, especially now when you have the coronavirus. Again, wrap price fall, handle prices in this kind of free fall market. We'd say the prices that we know we can put diamonds on the table. I remember when you gave the talk in Israel, you reminded us of your mother that survived in the Holocaust, the value of diamonds. Maybe show the world the importance of value in natural diamonds when a catastrophe occurs. I agree with you, Steve, and I think that this idea of having liquidity in the market is key. And I was going to actually show the video of my mother. It was having to be pearls. I would even show the video if we have time, but I didn't want to stop people from having questions. And I do have an interesting video to show. Yoni Levy, the big unknown is how long this is going to last. What will be after it ends? What can we use this time for? So I think we need to recognize that the world's going to change. So even when you get off this bus, you're going to be warp speeded to another planet. So people's attitudes are going to be different. That's why I explained at the beginning of this thing. And so what you can do now, and it's a very good question, first of all, get digital. Think about how you do digital, how you're going to use digital, how you're going to use electronics, how you're going to communicate with people. Where are you going to go? You got to understand that the old way of doing business pretty much going to be finitoed. And you can't go back. You can't put the cat back in the bag. It's not going to work that way. So you're not going to look and you got to think about, okay, where am I going to position myself? Will people still buy diamonds? Yes. Will they still buy jewelry? Yes. Why will they buy it? I was reading something the other day about teenagers, and they say, yeah, there's still romance, but we do it differently. Now we send a little, we don't leave poems and buy chocolates. We give someone a like, or we give them a little smiley button or something. I don't know. There is still romance. It's just practiced differently. These are teenagers. There is still going to be diamond and jewelry demand, but it's going to be practiced differently. I also think that there's a lot of talk about pent-up demand. I didn't talk that much about the excess inventory problem. I didn't talk that much about the profitability problem today. But I'll leave those things on the side. But there's a discussion about pent-up demand. Premier Xi talks about the Chinese are all going to run out and want to buy jewelry now. I'm not so sure. It could be if people are isolated and they're alone and they're thinking about, oh my God, I'm alone and I'm 32 years old and I do want to have a baby one day. She's a woman or even a guy. And now I should really think about getting married and having a relationship. This might shock millennials or elderly millennials or intermediate millennials. Just starting to have a serious relationship with people. If you take away that, so there might be this bounce effect of more demand for diamonds and jewelry. So I'm not against that. Okay. I'm not typing any answers. Oh my gosh. Before I answer these, let me go ahead and let some people ask questions. There's some raised hands there. Joshua, can you recognize them or deal with them?
Yes, I can recognize, Jay Goradia. Jay Goradia?
Yeah, I see Jay Goradia there. I see him. He's on mute. So he'll turn himself off of mute. While he turns himself off of mute, I'll answer the next question. How long? Again, no one knows. Oh, he is. Go. Speak, Jai.
Yes.
Rivka, can you get the door? Yes, Jai.
Hello, Mr. Martin. How are
Yeah,
you?
speak a little louder. It's very hard for me to hear you.
Hello, Mr. Martin. How are you?
Thank God.
It's nice to hear you and all the ideas that you have given here. Actually, I am also working in a company right now called Liquid Diamonds, and and I really agree with all the points that you have raised.
That's kind. Good. If you guys are buying diamonds, but anybody who wants to buy diamonds and wants to work on that, we're going to put together a systematic way for people to make bids. So that's great. And thank you for your kind words. All right, next. Okay, while we're getting the next guy set up.
We've got Bhavik Savalia.
Okay, Bhavik. Okay. I'm waiting for Bhavik. I think it says SUP. I think Bhavik is. All right, speak loudly into the microphone. Okay, Bhavik? Yes. I can't hear anything, Bhavik. I hear a number of voices in the background. Put plastic around. I know.
Okay, let's go on. Bhavik has got some trouble. Let's go on to Dennis Den. Dennis
Okay.
Den.
All right.
Dennis? Hello, Dennis, you need to take yourself off mute in order to speak.
Yeah, by the way, Stefan, it's not like we're not going to allow you to use the information. You can use it. I just don't want you to copy it and redistribute it, okay? So yeah, you can use the information that we have here, and we'll probably make this public, and I think that'll be fine, and you'll be able to look it over and see what's going on. Okay, Stefan. All right, we have our friends in, I don't know where, this is the guy, and then let's see, Kushal, going down. I can't talk about that. All commodities started. Sandeep, you please share the slides after the webinar. No, we'll post them online, or so I don't know. We're going to actually put them out there for the end, if time is allowed. Side personal related to the time questions. The idea of your opinion, Mr. Red, to get the kids into the diamond retail industry in Australia. That's a good question about having kids in the business. If they're passionate about it and they enjoy it and they like it, yeah, definitely. I would allow children to come into the business. I wouldn't force them to, but I believe in having a meritocracy. So whatever business you have, you can't have your family have a better position if they're not as good as the other guy. And, some kids don't understand that. So you need to be very clear
How
that you're running a meritocracy. Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah,
webinar?
Dennis, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yes. Next question. Yeah, please.
You can unmute your microphone to start speaking.
I'm listening.
We can hear you.
Go ahead. Okay, I'm listening. If anybody's got something to say. Your internet connection is unstable. That's scaring me. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry about the anonymously. I won't put people's names. Okay.
Nissim, go ahead, Nissim.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, I'm here.
How are you, Mr. Rappaport?
Thank God.
All good? I want to see what I'm thinking about, because the diamond, it was something very, I think the diamond, they see the things before the market, because the last 2 years, the market has come down like 50%, 40% the prices. So I think the diamond, they saw what's happened, because, it was a big gap between the diamond and the stock market. Because the stock market is going up like the last 1 year for 40% or 50%, and the diamond come down like 40, 50%. So I think what it's now, it's come equal. It's come the same, the price, the diamond and the stock markets now, it's come together because the market is down and the market has come down now to close to the diamond prices. And I don't know if you're thinking the prices, they're going to be more down after this?
I don't know, but I do like what you're saying to the extent that, where are diamonds? Is there a market for diamonds? I think the reason the D flawless is so cheap is because we haven't organized a market to buy them. And I think that there's opportunity here. I know people who have investment diamonds or diamonds are store value. To the extent that we ensure the diamonds are a good store of value, people will buy them today. Gold has gone up, and I think that is going to be the future. So there's no question in my mind that diamonds have value. The question is how much value. And the other issue is that money has become, what are you going to do with your money today? You can't put it in the bank and get any money. Some companies even have a situation where there's negative interest rates. So money, they go to the stock market because there's no place else to put money. Now that the stock market has taken such a hit, people are going to look for alternatives. And that's why gold has gone up. And I think diamonds should, if we have an organized market and if we have liquidity, I have every reason to believe that some people will put some money in diamonds as a store of value. How much, I don't know. At what price, I don't know. But I do think that the changing environment, if we handle the diamond industry right, will be good. If on the other hand, we just say, no, the markets are bad, no one's going to buy any diamonds, and then there is no value for them, and a D flawless for 8,000 goes to 2,000, then you're going to be in big trouble. But I don't think so. I think we're pretty much right now. I mean, look, discounts are huge, but I don't think that diamond prices are going to really crash further so much. I mean, there'll be some.
No, I don't.
There'll be some developments here, but you might be right. There might be greater demand.
My opinion is not, because I tell you why. Because people the last 2-3 years, they don't want to invest money in diamond because they make a lot of money on the stock market. So why they need to put money in diamond?
Right, you are. Yes.
But now because the stock market, the people that are shaking, it's like they lost so much money. So the diamond is come to be other place to put your money. And because I'm working on a lot of the flawlesses, I get a lot of calls from people for the flawlesses the last 10 days. And I didn't get so much calls for, It doesn't mean I sold, but I get a lot of calls for the flawlesses and less for the commercial goods now, because
Excellent.
I think
Yeah.
people, they want to invest, to think, they start to want to invest money because the diamond is cheap and they believe in diamond. No, it's valuable. It's not because it's not luxury. It's not to put like a necklace or a ring, because it's also, this time people, they want to something they can take it with them, because it's like a war. Because the situation is like this, I think one of the best things to put money is also diamond. It's not like only, real estate, and also gold, you cannot take it with you.
Excellent. So look, I think you're making good points. Joshua, make sure you take his name so we know who is in the market with selling and
Yeah.
buying these flawlesses. And yeah, that's a good point. And I think that maybe,
They know me.
yeah, maybe you go out there, and I'm sitting out here and, and I want to get picked for, say, a baseball game or something, right? So the other players are worse than me, I get picked. Someone else is bad, makes me look good. All right. I'm game for that.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Next.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Bavik. Bavik Savalia. Can hear you.
I don't know that they're capable of that. Let me see.
Okay, yeah, okay, I don't think it's
An anonymous person said, what about the jewelry industry? I'll answer that while you set up the next person. Okay, Joshua?
yeah, Bavik, I think is not going to speak, but Angel Oyono.
Okay, Angel, yeah, let's go.
Good morning to all.
Good morning.
Well, my best wishes of health for you, Mr. Rappaport, and all the participants in these important times in which, as you said, the priority must be always the health of ourselves and families. So I wanted to pose a question in which I think that your opinion will be very valuable. In this, I'm based in Madrid, which is one of the areas right now more by this problem, coronavirus. And I would like to know, well, my role in the diamond industry at the moment is as consultancy advisor for producers. And I would like to know, for miners and producers, I would like to know as your approach about taking this opportunity to educate better to the buyers in a global scale about the uniqueness and worth of the natural stones over the trend that we observe lately in the market of lab-grown created stones, which are trying to be marketed as sustainable diamonds, as diamonds in a serial with a different terms that they, let's say, that they use inappropriately, when right now, as all of us know, in the current diamond industry, there is a very strict legislation for absolute transparency and ethical development of the industry.
Okay. First of all, I think that we should point out, and we should be careful, so that the diamonds that we deal in, the natural diamonds, are as ethical, if not more so, than the synthetic diamonds. And that's number one. The number one thing is that consumers want to know that they're buying something which is checked and it's shown to be correct and ethical, and there's no human rights violations, and there's no other problems. And I think that we are working, and other people are working, to create such information resources and such certification so that that will be available. Now, the thing with LG, with lab-grown, or synthetic diamonds as I call them, is the issue of pricing sustainability. Because if you can keep producing these things at, say, X dollars, then the value of the diamond is only going to be X dollars. There's nothing and you're just unlimited supply. So the story that I'm talking about today, about creating a liquid market for diamonds and having a market, is fundamentally interacting with the idea of lab-grown diamonds. Because if diamonds have value, and they retain value, and they're good to trust for value, and if part of the marketing message or part of the reason people buy diamonds, part of the idea behind diamonds is value retention, then lab-grown diamonds don't have the ability to retain value because they can just be produced unlimited quantities. And therefore, you're not going to have the benefit. And I think people need to understand when they're buying a lab-grown diamond that they don't have the benefit of scarcity or natural scarcity or value. Now, but if the diamond industry doesn't support it and deflawlesses start selling for 10 cents, it's not going to happen. But I'm saying if deflawlesses go down ridiculously and no one is supporting the market, then you're going to have a problem. And then they'll say, why not buy LGs? So the issue is value retention as the key differentiator between lab-grown diamonds and natural diamonds. I believe both can be equally, not equally, or they can both be socially responsible, and that's fine. But I think you have to press the button on retention of value, and I think that is what differentiates natural diamonds from lab-grown diamonds.
Okay, thank you
Thank
very
you
much, Rohan Gujarati.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Hello, Martin. Thanks a lot for the session today. It was very, very informative. The question that I have for you is, as you think about, setting up this market for diamonds, what technologies do you think you would leverage as you go about this entire idea, or what technologies do you think can have a substantial impact in either helping set up a market like this or drive the market to grow once it's been set up?
I mean, a lot of people have invested in a lot of technology. And as I said earlier, technology is just a tool. We have technology at Rappaport and RapNet. We're talking about live auctions, which we're finishing some of that technology. We have RapX, which we're developing. I'm not impressed by technology as much as other people are. I mean, I could do the market with index cards if I had to. The bottom line, I mean, we will use technology, but we're not going to get crazied out about the technology. What we're going to do is find out, like, for example, you saw today, there's a diamond for $8,100, a D internally flawless diamond. I'm going to talk to my team and I'm going to say, guys, anybody trades D flawlesses that we know, can we create a list of people that trade D flawlesses? Yeah, put it into this technology. The real power is knowing who buys what. And then send an email to these guys, communicate with these guys, call them, send them an email. We will have a centralized marketplace and we will use technology for that. But we have to get people to come to play there. So we'll try to get the buyers to say, give me a bid, give me 6, give me 7, give me 8, give me 9. And I think it's this effort to get bids from reliable people who will honor their bids and then post that out there. I think that's what's going to make the market. So we'll use this technology or another. We have a bunch of technology in RapNet. We have a bunch of technology we can use. And we'll maybe go very simple with technology. The real thing is having the connections and the people to come together who want to buy. And do, like, if you said to me, what technology are you using to make a wedding? And yeah, there is technology for weddings. They send invites and electronically, but it's the same kind of deal. It's the connections with the people who are honest, who have the money. And everybody has money today. I'm not asking people who don't have money to try to make a market. That would be foolhardy. And they who have to have money, they have to have knowledge, they have to have customers, they have to be not afraid, and there has to be a number of them. So there's competition. I think that it's a process, but it's not just technology. It's a lot more. It's human interactions that will assure that this thing succeeds. Although I am very interested in technology, and we will see, use, buy. I don't know if you have technology, other people do. That's fine, but it's a tool. The real thing are the connections, being able to get buyers to bid. And it's bids that I want. Bids. And then we'll make those bids public. Yeah, you'll be able to go into a website and see those bids. And maybe you'll make a higher bid. And if a seller sees that there is a place to go to sell, and he can see that there are bids, and he'll decide, I want to sell, I don't want to sell. And even if the seller does or doesn't sell, other people around the world, oh, I know, I have a bid. Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, these diamonds are worth at least that much. And then they trade above it. And so again, the floor to the market is going to be a very powerful thing. And we will communicate that out there so people can see it. They'll know at this price, you can sell a diamond, a legitimate diamond. So I think that's, and we will use technology. Which exact technology? We actually, at Rappaport, we have quite a bit of technology at our disposal, and I'll have to talk to our R&D and our IT, CTO kind of guys and find out what they say. Okay?
Okay.
But
We'll
listen,
go
but if
to-
you're interested in this, please get his name, get his number, Joshua. I'd like to talk to him more later. Maybe he knows or has technology. Or I'd love people who are interested in this and want to work with us to create such a market. Very
Thank
interested.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take 2 more questions, or how many more questions? Moshe Avissar, you can unmute yourself and speak. Ask your question.
Joshua, how do I get in touch with you? This is Rohan again.
I'm going to send you my details in a second. I'll respond to you on the platform here.
All right, thank you.
Moshe? Okay, I don't think he's. We'll go to Rajiv Kanabar.
Hello.
Hello,
Good
yes.
afternoon. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you, Mr. Martin, for a wonderful webinar. So my question is as follows. I completely believe that liquidity is the right path towards the diamond industry, which leads me to, can we make the diamond more fungible? Which then leads me to think, can we digitalize a diamond? Because I've been following De Beers' Traces program, and I see that more and more we're heading towards a path of technology, but in the blockchain sphere. Digitalizing diamonds, creating a smart contract, and therefore coming back to the loop of liquidity. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, we're working on the bundling concept so that you'll have diamond points that you can use to trade groups of diamonds. And I think we'll be coming out with that probably later this year. I think that there is going to be now, because of this coronavirus and this everything that's happening, they've reshuffled the deck, so there's more opportunity for this. The blockchain concept is simply a bookkeeping entry system that assures a level of reliability as to where the diamond comes from and where it's going. But it doesn't solve the problem of creating a market. And that's what we're addressing. But yeah, all kinds of technology like blockchain are welcome and useful, but they're all tools. People make the mistake. Many years ago, someone came and said, oh, I have the ability to make an image of a diamond, and therefore I'm going to run trading networks. I'm going to be able to do everything because I have technology that enables us to take an image of a diamond. I said, okay, but you're not going to be able to capture the world with technology. You need to capture the world with market making. And like for example, RampNet. RampNet gives people the opportunity to competitively source diamonds. Now, putting bidding on RampNet might be a direction that we would take it as well. Okay, so we're going to work on that, and we're going to develop that. And I'm very interested in you as well. You please send. By the way, anybody can send me an email. It's rap@diamonds.net. RAP or Martin@diamonds.net. And so it would be great if everybody with their ideas and stuff and want to follow up. I'm a little busy right now, but I would be very interested in following up with people who are interested in these kinds of ideas, because we're going to do them, and we're going to do them with other people, and other people are going to do them. And all of these things lead to the direction of better liquidity for diamonds. And that's what we need to do. So I'm very interested in what you were mentioning. I think that, yes, blockchain will be there. Trading networks will be there. Bid prices that we will publish will be there. And there will be an opportunity for players. When I say players, I mean people who can make bids to participate in a transparent, competitive market. And that's really what's going to make the thing work. That's going to be that's the solution. Okay? Competitive, transparent bidding. That's what we need to do.
Okay, Steve.
Thank you.
Hi, Martin. Regarding I think you have a big responsibility in what is occurring now in the market. I think my personal view is we have an opportunity, like you said, to keep to sell to the people, and advertising is a key issue, that people have to buy diamonds because they know value will remain in natural diamonds. Now, we all know that we need advertising because advertising is key. And I don't know, you spoke once about Alrosa and the beers, and I don't know who has to put a lot of money into that factor. But you, as Martin Rappaport, I'm asking you not to make a crash right now in the diamond business, because just the opposite. We have to make advertisement that diamond is strong, diamond is a good investment, and because the coronavirus, it's not crashing, if you understand what I mean. And that's what I want to say, kind of. Yeah.
Thank you, but yeah, I hear you. Thank you, but you got to go with the truth, baby. You know, like diamonds, if diamonds are going down, that's okay. Remember this: when prices come down, you're attracting buyers. Now you say, no, everybody believes and only thinks diamonds only go up. Only silly people are that way. People with money understand that commodities like diamonds or mercury or gold or copper, they go up and down. Oil, you know. So we're looking for smart people. We're not looking for people who are consumers, who we tell them a story and we market to them. You know, when's the last time you saw marketing for oil? But there's trillions of dollars traded, I think, every day. When's the last time you saw marketing for things? So, you know, if people want value, they need to buy it at a price that they can liquidate at. And I think maybe we want to look at is the bid-ask price. Anything with a bid-ask price, say the ask is 10,000, the bid is 5,000 or 6,000, that's not something anyone normal should invest in. It's a ripoff. And the idea that with advertising we can cure markets, no, I don't believe that at all. Yeah, you can advertise if you want to add value to a commodity like oil or diamonds. You know, there's a diamond, you can buy it in an online exchange for $6,000, $8,000, whatever, and then you can add value to it, put it in a ring, sell it there, do some other things. But the profits of moving into the investment sector are very minimal, okay? Even in the stock markets, even stock brokers, you know, there's not a lot of profit in the transactions, but there is support and there is liquidity and there's confidence. And I think you're going to see markets develop that are going to be very low margin. And those markets will exist among dealers who know what they're doing. They won't need advertisements telling them the diamonds are wonderful. They're only buying to sell to make money. And they'll only buy if they think they can get a good price. And that's the market that we need to create. So when I say liquidity, I don't mean, oh, we're going to now market, everybody's going to pay high prices because we're going to tell everybody diamonds are good when they're not. What I mean is say, hey, everybody, there's a diamond here for 8,000. And I'm talking to dealers. How about somebody give me 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I mean, I don't really care what the price is. What I care is that there's a machine that processes bids and that everybody knows at some price you can sell it. So today, for example, Signet. I think you can trade Signet at $8. 2 days ago, it was 10. A month ago, it was $20. It doesn't matter what the price is. It's the value that dealers are interested in. When I say $20, people are buying and selling at $20. So I don't think price matters that much. I think liquidity is based on the ability of smart people with money. And, you know, people that aren't smart, they and their money get separated pretty quickly. So generally, people who have money are smart, and they will decide what the price of the diamond should be. And I would think mostly people in the diamond trade. I'd also point out to you there's a very viable market for estate jewelry. If you show up with the right jewelry, people will bid you, you get cash, you get money right on the table. So we will work with people to create a viable and successful market. Don't forget, whoever's a market maker needs to make money. So they will decide what price they want to pay for it, like any other commodity. Okay.
Okay, Mike, last question. One more question from Stelianos Baranias.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
I think he's Italian. Stelianos.
Right, go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, it's hard for people to talk.
Stelianos, we can hear you. You can go ahead. Speak.
I think we'll also ask people to type things in. I do want to address, while we're waiting for Stanonios, how do you convince consumers the value of natural diamonds is better than lab grown? By buying them, by making bids. Ayakov is saying, as a consumer who needs to realize diamonds are store value, how do we go about that in times of turn? Buy them, you know, make markets. Say, okay, you got a diamond, I'll buy it from you. As soon as someone hears that and sees that, they say, oh, I don't want to sell it. It's great, it's good value. So buying, putting money on the table. Putting our money where our mouth is, I would say. Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, Stavonios?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, yes.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, so go ahead and speak. We're all interested in what you have to say.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Rapaport, and thank you for the lovely webinar. Hello from sunny Crete in Greece. So my question is that understanding that the Rapaport price list is a price index based on which we negotiate between us, and that supply and demand regulates the percentage of discounts that people request to buy or offer to sell the diamonds. In order for diamonds to be a trusted commodity for investors to store and buy, it is important, as you rightly mentioned, to ensure liquidity in the market for people who want to sell diamonds. But in order to support this trust in the market, either between us or even for us to promote this trust to other people who are interested to invest, shouldn't there be a fund that definitely buys the offered diamond at a certain percentage below the Rapaport price list? For example, a small margin below a certain price that RapNet or Rapaport indicates. The reason I say this is that because for gold, for example, there is the retail market. That is, of course, it has the market value of a retail product, but there is a commodity value that is very specific. And the margin between wholesalers is very, very minimum. And that's what makes it a trusted commodity. When diamonds, I, for example, own a 19-carat diamond, and I've tried to sell it in the market in different countries, and the gap between the offers I get is humongous. So there has to be a baseline price between us that will make us as well feel that this is a trusted price, that it is really worth to actually put your money in.
I agree with you totally. I think the Rapaport price list is a general kind of a numeric price, suggested price, but RapNet does have prices, and our intention is going to be to have bid prices. Like you have asking prices and RapNet bid prices. And once you see bid prices for stones, you'll be able to get a pretty good idea of what your diamond can be worth. However, there's a lot of differences in diamonds. A 19-carat is a very exclusive item. And you're not going to find a price list for 19 carats or even a straightforward commodity price. You might for 1 carat or deflosses, but even the 19 carat, if it's out there in the market and you see another 19 carat is sold for this price, you can put it in the market and say, I want to sell, show me bids. And this idea of show me bids, show me competitive bids, show me competitive bids, that's the key to establishing a bid market and a transparent market and a market where people will have confidence. So for example, if your 19 carat was out there and you were getting bids and other people were seeing the bids and saying, oh, someone offered, I don't know, X dollars a carat, $50,000 a carat. Look, he offered 50, I'll offer 51. And so this idea that we are shedding light on the product and we are offering it to people will give other people confidence to buy it, and then you'll see what the market offers you. I think that issue of what does the market offer you, and is it competitive, and is it fair, that's the key. Now, if you can get a fair price because everybody who's a potential buyer has seen this diamond and knows that it's there, then you have a good shot. Now, there might be certain people who say, I don't want to show my diamond to everyone. I want to keep it a secret. That's fine too. Then they don't have to participate in this market. But most of the stuff I'm thinking about also is the standard GIA graded diamonds, which do have a lot of fungibility and a lot of comparisons. And those diamonds should definitely be trading like hotcakes, very like stocks, like every second. It's going to be based on being able to have a transparent bid process. And that's what we're working on now. That's what we want to introduce. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah,
That
I
was the
would want
last
to say one
question.
thing when we before that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Albert.
Yeah, what's it? There's Alan Sikonis asking, can the big mining companies like De Beers and also work with the diamond dealers to back the value of diamonds? Surely they can try to do it alone as dealers. And let me just say this. The only reason someone's going to participate in the bid market is if they're going to make money. There's no favors here. There's no, oh, I want to support the market. I don't trust anybody who's putting their money on the table to do a favor. This isn't a charity. Therefore, a viable bid market should be structured so that anyone who bids can make money. They're setting the price. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that if there's a market, a viable, liquid, transparent market for diamonds that we're working on, anybody who is smart will want to participate if he knows he has money and he understands diamonds. Would De Beers participate? Maybe, maybe not. But I frankly have learned not to rely on De Beers for anything. De Beers has got their own agenda of what they want to do. And I'm not a big believer in this charitable notion that people are going to save the industry if they don't make money. I think that the key to sustainable development and sustainable solutions is that all of those participants do it because they are motivated because they can make money doing it. I do believe that the creation of a bid market for diamonds, the bidders will have an opportunity to make money, and that's why they'll come and that's why they'll bid. So competition is good. Now, if De Beers says, I'll come in and I'll bid, fine. Anybody wants to come and bid, but it's competition among bidders. Maybe you can find some smart guys from the Chicago Mercantile Exchange who trade copper or sugar, and they'll show up and say, yeah, let me trade diamonds. All kinds of people who are experts at trading will come in if it's a standardized product, okay? And that's why we're going to working to standardize Rappaport Specification A3 and stuff like that. So it's going to be challenging to create this market, but it's going to require players, people, market makers, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for people who have money, are knowledgeable, and are not afraid to buy diamonds, even in times like this, at a low price. Okay, Joshua, what else do you want to do?
Yeah, I think we should end it now.
Okay.
Yeah, unless you want to take another question, but I think it's time to end.
I'll get one more question because people have been asking, and I want.
Okay, so then we have Yoni Levy who would like to talk. Yoni Levy from Australia.
Oh, Australia. Nice to see. Good night over there. Good morning. I don't know what time it is now. Okay, Australia.
Just unmute yourself there.
Here's Yoni Levy. I see he's there. Okay.
Yoni?
Yeah, he'll come there.
Now, can you hear me? Sorry.
I can now.
Okay. So yeah, it's 7:40 p.m. here.
Oh.
I'm in Perth. Okay. So this liquidity thing. So obviously, yeah, I was a wholesaler until about 7 months ago. But if you buy something, say, that if you went to the market, let's say anything like between a carat to 2 carat, GIA, nice stones, but VSSI. And if you went to the market and you wanted to buy it and you know where to buy it very good and you know how to negotiate, so say you can get it between minus 35 to 40. Just an example, doesn't matter. I mean, the one like looking on RapNet, looking on going directly to people and paying cash. If somebody offers you like minus 60, it doesn't have to be, I mean, I'll buy it for this price, obviously you want to liquidate it. So my question, that's how I feel, that there's no money in the market, that no one has money, even if you offer for amazing prices. And I have a secondhand business that I buy, from the public. You cannot sell. I mean, everybody wants to give you prices that, that sounds that they don't have money, or everyone I know at least. So, I mean, do we believe that there is still enough money in the market to, for the money to go around and get like serious offers, not like,
I think that if we create a market which is transparent and efficient, market makers will come and say, "Ooh, I can play this game." It's like you go into a casino and you see these different tables and they're playing different games with different rules. as long as it's a clear game with rules and it's not some kind of a phony baloney, and the diamonds are really what they're supposed to be, and they're easily to resell them at a price. Yeah, I see that this is going to be a centralized location, and you can go to George and Peter and Mary, but once you put something in a market, there'll be people there who'll say, I understand how this market works. I can buy it easily. I can sell it easily. There's more than one person who's buying it. Yeah, I'll jump into this. Now that would work for certain standardized products like GIA, 1 carat, D to K, flawless to I1 or whatever. There'll be other stranger products that we'll just put out there and see if anyone's interested. But I think that if you get the kind of products that are liquid that other people want to buy, you will get a price that makes sense. And I think that it's the idea of transparency and competition and efficiency, by the way, that'll drive people who are in the business of making markets to look at this and say, oh, let me play this, let me try, I'll buy, I'll sell, I'll do this and that. Access to market, quality assurance, low transaction costs, and liquidity are the fundamental ingredients of a successful bidder market. So, hang around with us. You'll see what we do, and we'll call you right now. There's a diamond right now for $8,000 at D-Flawless. I'd love to see someone bid on it. I don't care what the bid is. Okay.
So this system you're talking about, the bidding system, it doesn't exist at the moment?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
But we're going to try to do it as soon as possible. We'll have Shimon. We'll get our guys to do it.
But just for the trade, or we'll open it to the public as well?
It'll probably be open to investors because we don't want people to bid and then not follow it. It may be on Bloomberg, but we'll see. We'll see. We need to sell diamonds for money, and as long as the money is not money laundering and as long as it's legitimate, I'm happy to move goods. You got to move goods. Got to provide liquidity. Okay.
Yeah. You gave us a great advice tonight. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we're shutting it down. And if anyone wants to contact us, please send an email, I think Joshua, or just to this email that you did when you logged in here. But maybe we'll send something out to everybody thanking them. And I think we're going to be publishing this somehow. When we have another conference call set up for another couple of hours, 3 hours from now, actually 3 hours and 50 minutes. So after that one, we'll have 2 of these things done today. And then we'll see, and then we'll be able to kind of put something together with our team. So you will actually have something that you can look at later and share with other people. Okay. All right. Thank you all. I wish you well and stay healthy, everybody. And please wash your hands. Okay. Right after this call, go wash your hands. And please be careful not to, walk around, get a little isolationist and kind of, stay home, stay inside, take care of yourself, be safe. Okay, everybody.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much.
Right.
Have a good day.
Joshua, make sure we save the Q&As.